I'm just gonna hop right in. And here's the thing, I have no idea what I'm really gonna talk about today. I'm having one of those days where you just kind of, you don't feel like yourself. You don't feel great. I don't feel bad. I just don't really feel like I don't have that joie de vivre, that little pep in my step, that little twinkle in my eye that makes me just a superstar everywhere I go. I mean, I look wonderful, and I think that just sort of goes without saying. But yeah, I didn't sleep great last night. I went to bed a little bit late, and then I did this thing that I haven't been doing for a while, but I did this thing where I woke up, it was like 4:30 or something in the morning, and then my brain just was like high alert. It was like, all right, let's just worry about every single fucking thing. I worried about reopening the business. I worried about what we will be able to pay people when we run out of our payroll loan. I worried about members coming in. I worried about members canceling. I worried about not growing. I worried about how we were going to pay rent. And then for some fucking reason, I was like, what's a good idea? Let me just look at my phone. Let's just see what the internet has to say in the fucking depths of the midnight hour. And that's when I really started to get, I became scholarly on murder hornets. And so that's fucking awful and scary. And I'm just like, I'm pretty sure we're in a simulation. Like, I subscribe to the Church of the Matrix, but I feel like there's something biblical about like a plague, and then also something about like, is it hornets? Is it bugs? Is it wasps? I don't know, but I'm fairly certain this is an omen of the end times. And really, it's got me thinking, if this is it, and the world is truly about to implode, what do I want to spend my last days doing? And I'll tell you what, it's not fucking worrying about my business or murder hornets. It's about losing weight. Look, I never said I was a deep, meaningful person. I am, what is that expression? 1 inch deep and a mile wide, 1 inch deep. I like to go far, but stay very shallow. So anyhow, I had the world's worst sleep. Well, maybe not the world's worst sleep. It's like, I'm at least I'm not a parrot, but I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, did all the dumb shit, let my brain do the things and think the things that made it a hell of a lot worse. I eventually fell back asleep, I guess around like 7-ish or so, and then I just slept until 11 a.m. and I hate that. And that's really what's got me in a weird mood today, I think, is just feeling like normally by 11 in the morning, I've kind of wrapped up my to-do items. Like, I try to get after my shit. But no, it's like 1:30 or something. What time is it? 1:46 when I'm recording this on Wednesday, and I'm just like, wait a second, what? And I wasn't even gonna do anything today. This is the worst part, is like, I had every intention of just like taking this day, like, quote unquote off, and I mean, I'm still gonna, but I feel as though I kind of like gypped myself out of half of my day off. So I don't know, because it's not like I just slept through the night. It's like I got like fucking 12 hours of sleep, and I could really indulge in not having to do anything. No, it was like I got this weird fucking intermittent 3-hour nap situation. Ugh, I think if these ramblings prove nothing, it is just exactly how fucking important sleep is. Like, y'all, I deal with like sleep anxiety, it's like anxiety to perform, except for when it comes to actually like just sleeping. Because Kyle and I have spent some time really Kyle especially way more than me, because, he actually reads, and I just assume it's my preference, and I won't, I won't be made to feel a fool for it. But we've spent a lot of time trying to understand more about our sleep, the value of it, the productivity, the how to get more out of your sleep, and just like fine tune it. And so what we've really struggled with for the last few weeks through quarantine is consistency in sleep, meaning like what time we go to bed and what time we wake up. We'd sort of gotten a little bit better about it, but I don't know, we got into Waco. Okay, so we got into Waco, the show that's on Netflix. in the last couple of days, he had sort of been like on me to watch it, and I was like, no, I don't want to watch it. And I think I thought it was more about like war. And like, spoiler alert, it is about war, but not like you would think. So I was like, nah, just kind of poo-pooing it, and then I started hearing more about it, and I was like, oh, it's about Colton. It's like, oh, it's about David Koresh. Oh, fuck yeah, I want to watch that. So we've been into that. And then it's like, it's a lot of, so we'll watch it in the evenings. Despite everything that's gone on for quarantine, we're not turning the TV on during the day. Like, I'm not watching any more TV than I ever do in normal life. Which is also kind of like frustrating. I've been really looking forward. I had a lot of anticipation and excitement about the idea that I would get to watch TV during the day because I wouldn't have to go anywhere, and it just hasn't fucking happened. So I'm kind of annoyed with that shit. But regardless, we watch TV in the evening, and we've been watching, I'm sitting outside, by the way. Yes, you're hearing a plane overhead. I'm sitting outside because we are in luck again. It was disgustingly hot the last few days, but we had a huge storm roll through last night. It was crazy. It was that sideways kind of rain and that howly kind of wind and tons of thunder and light. It was awesome until it fucking knocked out the breaker in my kitchen. I mean, it was fine. We were able to turn the power back on, but it was just fucking annoying. But it cleared out a lot of the humidity. So we're having a beautiful day. So I'm sitting on my porch, and I'm coming to you live from the porch. Well, the patio. I don't know what's the difference. Is there a difference? The porch? I think of a porch as being on the front of your house. And then we also have an upstairs, like, balcony. It's a built-in patio porch thing on the upstairs. So I call the upstairs one the porch, and I call this downstairs one the patio. What the fuck? Who cares? So we got into Waco. We watch TV later in the evening. We don't start TV until we're done with dinner, which is sometimes around 7:30, sometimes after 8. And so we're getting started kind of late. I like to be in bed at 9. We watch TV on the sofa though until like maybe 9:30. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we've only watched this horrible, upsetting thing. Like, I need a palate cleanser. And all of a sudden we're watching like 5 episodes of The Office that we've already seen 100 times. Did you know, this is according to Kyle, so this, fact check this please, this could be just a bunch of bullshit, but did you know that of every view ever on Netflix, that The Office makes up 8% of the total Netflix views? Did you know this? I don't know if it's true. Kyle told me last night. Quite frankly, I'd believe it. I've probably given them a few percentage points toward that number, but anyway, so we watch that, and then we're just up late, and then we sleep late, and it's like, yeah, everyone believes like you get 8 hours of sleep, blah, blah, blah. That's like the target. And yeah, 8 hours is really good. But it's not just about 8 hours in bed. Like, you may fall asleep at midnight, wake up at 8 a.m. That doesn't mean you actually slept for 8 hours, because the way that your sleep cycle works, you're going to have these interrupted moments. You're going to have little moments where you come awake even if you're not like conscious of it. So you might only actually get like 7.5 hours of sleep. Still good, you know, but not like as great as 8 hours. But anyway, so because we're fucking with our sleep consistency, so the fall asleep time and the wake up time, we're just all out of sorts. And here's the other thing. You know, the governor of Texas announced yesterday that hair salons and nail salons can start to reopen as of Friday. Gyms, fitness studios will be okay as of May 18th. And I'm freaking the fuck out. Like, I'm it's just so much to think about. Like, it's like this balancing act of, okay, like, well, financially, I do need to like get back to quote unquote normal. I do need to get back to being fully operational, because eventually we're gonna just run out of money. And that sucks, and that's fucking terrifying. And then, but on the other hand, there's me and just like the way I'm looking at this situation from a social issue, and I'm like, but how do we do that? Like, so anyway, I'm not gonna like start to unravel that ball of yarn, because it will make me probably suicidal. So I just have to stop in this moment, because today is my quote unquote day off. But yeah, I think it's been bubbling in the back of my mind for quite some time, and now that we're getting closer, it's just like really fucking wreaking havoc. So I think I'm gonna take a Benadryl tonight, a little Benny. I don't take any prescription medication, like, at all, and I really never have. But man, it's times like this where I'm like, what's Xanax like? I don't know. How's Prozac? What do I need here to just be like, everything is so fucking chill and great, and it's all gonna be just fine. I'm not like, I don't do marijuana Is that how you even say it? I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to talk about marijuana. That's how much I don't do it. But like, I totally support it for people. I will say this, this is groundbreaking news for any and everyone who's ever known me, with the exception of like 2 people in my life. But like, I've tried it a couple of times, and it was in my early 20s, and I literally just tried it. And the only reason I would ever try it was because I was like drinking heavily, and that's also stupid. But like, well, not to say that trying marijuana is stupid, but like being drunk and then being like, you know what I should do now is things I've never done before. So that's fucking stupid. But like, a couple of times I tried it, and it was like, in the words of George Bush, is it George Bush? Which one of the presidents was like, but I didn't inhale? I mean, I think I did. I don't know, but I don't do anything that I inhale. The only thing I inhale is oxygen, and then like my asthma inhaler. But I tried it, and apparently and I just felt sick. I was just like, this is gross. I just feel like I want to vomit everywhere. And apparently like that's how it works if you're drinking and you also try and get stoned or something. But. So I tried it like 2-3 times, early 20s, and I was like, this fucking gross. Hate it. Doesn't do anything for me. Pass. Also, cigarettes are gross. So fast forward to Kyle and I go to Colorado last fall. We went last October. It was a wonderful little trip, just a kind of fall excursion. We did some hiking and we did some spaing. It was just beautiful. And of course, in Colorado, weed is legal and you can go to dispensaries. And Kyle, on the other hand, has a very different approach to marijuana than me, but without sharing all of his secrets, he was very excited to try to go to this dispensary because, again, it's legal. You just walk in like you would at a fucking, a bodega to get a foot-long sandwich. It's the same thing there. So I was like, you know what? I will try something there. I was curious about I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get something I can eat, because I am nothing if not just constantly thinking about food. I'm a hungry bitch. So I was like, I'll try that. And what did I get? Oh, I got a lollipop. Did you, like, it's amazing the things they can put marijuana into. As someone, again, I don't know, I have very little familiarity, exposure, acquaintanceship to marijuana, drugs in general. Like I said, don't have any prescriptions of any kind, legal or illegal. So I was just like so unfamiliar with what they could do with weed. And so we get there and I'm like explaining to the guy, this poor stoner is like, oh my God, this woman is tightly wound. Let me give you any and everything. So I was like, here's the deal. Like, I don't want to be crazy. I don't do this. What have you got? I don't want to taste it. Like, what have you got for me? And he's like, I've got just the thing. And he comes out and he's like, here's a, fucking 2 milligram? I don't know. I'm very bad at drugs. Like, I don't know anything about how they work. But he's like, here's a slightly low dosage or whatever. But it's a sucker for those of you from Texas. Sucker is, by the way, not like a universal term for a hard candy on a stick. That is kind of regional. Similarly, lollipop, but I did want to call it a lollipop because I wanted to call it a lollipot. Take a second. Just take a second. Enjoy that. So, I got a lollipot, and I don't know, I think we got like, I don't remember if it was that day or the next day, whatever, sometime in the afternoon, we were just back at the hotel, sitting in the lobby, or not the lobby, the restaurant bar area. Man, those were the fucking days when you could just sit in public amongst people who would bring you small bowls of mixed nuts and delicious craft cocktails. Oh God. I'm so worried. I'm in the breakdown phase. That's what's going on here. Well, anyway, so I do a little lick on my lollipot. I finish it. We went on a hike. Here's the thing I learned about an edible is it takes a while to kick in. So it's like you're not going to get that instant reaction to it like you would if you were doing something that you could inhale. So you kind of got to plan for it. You know, you got to be like willing to kill some time and then be ready for it to hit. And I was like thinking, I don't know why, I was thinking it was going to be like a psychedelic. I was eating mushrooms, which by the way, I just don't think I could do. I like mushrooms just fine, but like the kind of funky shit that you've got to take for your brain to like, you know, see sounds. I'm not sure if I can handle it. Hold on. I need a water break. It's water this week, not chai. I've got to talk to you about chai. We'll come back to it. But so I have my little lollipot. We go on a delightful little hike. And then literally like 3 hours later, it truly takes some time. And I don't know, maybe it's different. I'm sure it's different on everyone, and I'm sure it's different based on the milligrams or the dosage, and I'm sure it's different based on like what your body, how metabolism, who the fuck knows. But for me, like 3 hours later, I realized we're like sitting on the sofa in this bar, and I'm just like, wow, I'm super fucking relaxed. I just was like, we're just sitting here, we're not talking to each other, we're not really looking at anything, and I'm just so fucking chill and relaxed. And y'all, that's not a feeling I'm particularly familiar with. And so it was very delightful, and that was it. You know, things were a little bit funny, but I don't feel like I got crazy hungry, you know. I mean, again, I'm a hungry bitch, so who's to say I wasn't, you know, just I'm always hungry. So it's like I don't need a drug to make me feel like I'm hungry. I need the opposite, which is probably why people are going to start recommending Adderall to me. It's just like I just want to put shit in my system, you know? I just want to function naturally, whatever. Anyhow, so that was great. I wish that Texas, so where I'm going with this is if Texas could just like speed it up a little bit on the legalization of marijuana, because it's coming. Well, maybe, assuming the world doesn't totally end, it is coming. It's coming everywhere. You need to get fucking ready for it. But I do kind of feel like that could be nice right now. Like that's probably what I need to go to sleep. Kyle's real big on CBD oil as well. I could try it. I guess I could do a better job trying it. I just haven't. But I do take melatonin, and I've definitely gotten back into the melatonin game because I was trying to wean myself off for a few weeks there, and I think that was really fucking with my ability to get to sleep at a normal time. So I'm on the fucking melatonin. I guess I'll try and take some Kyle's CBD. I mean, if anyone could just like be the adult in my life and like run my business, and also, well, Kyle does manage the finances, but if someone could just like take my business over, that'd be great. That would do a lot to help with my stress levels, but in the meantime, that's what's going on. So it sucks. It's cyclical, but yeah, I'm fucking knocking myself out tonight. Taking a little Benny, taking some CBD, taking some melatonin. I'm gonna turn into fucking Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. It's gonna take True Love's kiss to wake me up. So I don't know. But anyway, so I'm gonna move on with my day. I'm gonna continue to relax, but I do, I'm not gonna, this actually isn't gonna be a very long episode, I don't think. The last few have been like extraordinarily long. And I'll tell you what, I love a long podcast personally, particularly if it's one I enjoy, you know, if it's like people I like to listen to. So I'm assuming you feel similarly. I'm assuming if you spend even a few minutes listening to this shit, it's because you, I suppose, for some odd fucking reason, you like to hear what I have to say. I mean, I don't get it. I thank you for that. I don't get it. I think I'm kind of insufferable, but that's me. So if you like listening to me, I presume you would like the longer format podcast, but I just don't have tons of things to talk about, I feel like, today. So we're not going to talk for 2 hours, but I did mention earlier that we were watching Waco. Okay, so Waco, the show on Netflix. I'm sure you've seen it because everyone is doing Netflix right now. Everyone's doing weed and everyone's doing Netflix, and Waco is one of the trending shows. So I grew up in Houston, obviously. Well, not obviously. I think a lot of y'all probably know that, but if you don't, fun fact, I grew up in Houston, Texas, and it's where I reside now. I have only lived here as an adult for like 3 years. But I lived here from birth until 18 when I went off to college. And then I only moved back recently. So, the Waco, like, standoff with David Koresh and his people and then the FBI, that happened in 1993. So I was in 3rd grade. I was 8 years old. 9, actually, I guess, because I was born in 84. So at some point I turned 9. I was 8 to 9 years old in 93. I don't know exactly what dates the thing happened. And so in other words, I was old enough to have memories. I have memories of my 3rd grade teacher. What was her name? Miss... I know this isn't right, but I'm gonna say Miss... I know this isn't right, but it was similar to Miss Miss Chode. It was not Chode. Her name was not Chode, but it was similar to it. I don't remember what she had white hair. I don't know if she had albinism, but she had like platinum white hair, and she had to have been younger than I am now, but I remember just thinking she was quite old. But she was nice. I don't have bad memories of her. She liked to read. I think I discovered Roald Dahl and Matilda in 3rd grade, so I have memories, right? Like at 8 years old, you should have some fucking memories. But I don't remember a thing about Waco. And I mean, obviously, like, you're a child, you're not keeping up with current events, you're not tuning into the nightly news. I mean, maybe you are, and in which case, no. Like, where the fuck are your parents? Childhood is for blissful ignorance. So I don't have, and maybe that's why I don't have memories. But I mean, I even mentioned to Kyle, was like, I grew up 4 hours away from where this fucking thing happened, and I don't have any memories of it. I don't have even memories of people in my orbit talking about it, and me being like, I don't know what that means. Like, here's an example. When I was in elementary school for a time, we lived in a townhouse, and also interchangeably referred to as a condo. I distinctly remember the day when I sat in a group of my classmates, and I told them that my family lived in a condom. So I can remember things from this era and people talking about things around me, and I just don't have any memories of the Waco thing, which I find just so weird because it was clearly a big fucking deal. The American military attacking its own people. I mean, this is shit that happens in fucking North Korea and goddamn fucking Russia, you know? And a lot of other places. It's not supposed to happen here, and so it's a big deal. The whole thing of David Koresh being like a cult leader and marrying 14-year-olds and having many wives is another fucking sick sense of human depravity. But like, that's the controversy of this show really is around the military thing. Anyway, so it's just like one of these things where I'm like, where the fuck was I? Maybe I was 8, but like, where the fuck was I? So I don't have any, so we, despite the fact that I grew up only 4 hours away or so from where this all went down, had no idea what actually happened. And a few of the podcasts that I listen to, these true crime things, I've heard them talk of David Koresh. The talk I've always heard is more around how evil he was and bad he was, more than it had to do with what the military element, or maybe not military, but like the FBI element. And so, anyhow, so we've been watching it. It's a limited series. It's 6 episodes. We just watched the 5th episode. I know how it ends, sort of, but I don't know how it ends. And I just won't say what happens for your sake, in the event that you, like, also, like me, have no memory of one of the greatest national tragedies in our modern history. But anyhow, it's very good. It's done pretty well. It's Michael Shannon, who's always plays a fucking creeper. He's always like the bad guy lurking in the shadows. Like, he sort of looks like a melty robot, but at the same time he's also like kind of hot. It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it. But he is very, like, he's the good guy in this series. So it's just weird to see him like switch it up like that. It'd be like Robert De Niro alongside Jim Carrey. It's just like, this is, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm okay with it. I don't know. It's, but he's very good. He's just so cute. I like him so much. He does need a little bit of a haircut. I understand it was the 90s, but that long on the top and long on the sides, like bowl cut for a man, I don't get it. Well, so he produced it or whatever and stars in it, and then the guy that plays David Koresh is so good. And also, like, super fucking hot. His name's Taylor Kitsch, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to fact check it. I'm not here to give you the most accurate news. I'm just here to give you the news as I see it. But anyway, he's done some shit that I've never seen before, but he's so good in this. He makes you think, like the way it's the way the character's written, the way he's playing them, or the combining of both of them, but they really get you to feel like, wow, David Koresh was so, like, charming and magnetic, and of course you would want to be one of his 20 wives or some shit, or like, of course you would let him impregnate your wife, of course. So he's doing a great job. The show, I guess, was originally made for Paramount Network, like a television station that no one has, and if they do, they definitely don't watch. Fun fact, Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her show American Woman was on that network, and it also got canceled, because also for the same reasons. Who the fuck is watching Paramount Network? The answer is no one. So that show was originally on there, but then Netflix, I guess, bought the rights. So it's really interesting how that happens. Like, you watch these shows on Netflix, and you just kind of assume it's a Netflix original, right? Like, if you haven't seen it on another station and you know it's not like a syndicated show or something, makes me wonder all the other shit that we watched that who knows when, if they bought it. But it was very good. So it's very captivating. Kyle's a little more judgy about it because he's like, I could tell this was made for TV. I don't know that he actually can. I think he just, like, because he knows that Netflix didn't make it, there's not like, you know, there's not like swearing. There's plenty of blood, you know, because the TV censors are so okay with lots of blood and violence. But God forbid somebody say fuck, yikes, call the police, because that's what's going to send you to hell. Anyway, it's coming. Did you hear the part about murder hornets? So we've been watching that. Clearly, it's been great on my reptilian brain. What was the other thing? Like I said, I didn't really plan much for this week's episode, but I did. Okay, so you can fast forward this if you're not a Real Housewives person, but wow, what does it say about me that my whole podcast has just turned into me telling you things I'm watching on TV? You know what I think it says? I think it says that we're all fucking in captivity in our own homes. And that's it. That's it. But I did watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills finally. There have been 3 episodes. It's been on for almost a fucking month, and I literally just haven't been able to get to it, like, until this weekend. That's how not much TV I'm watching to get what that made no sense. That's how little TV I've been watching, is I haven't even been watching one of my all-time favorite shows of TV ever. So finally got into it, and man, it is, in 3 episodes it's already delivering. It was delivering in episode 1 when Kyle's having her fashion show and her fucking producer tells her assistant or something to keep her away from her. Shit. And also, what a weird fashion show that she didn't even know what pieces they were going to show. I'm with Dorit on this one. Like, you can't have a fashion show at New York Fashion Week and the day before be like, what's this piece? I mean, I understand she's not designing, nor is she sewing or any of these things. She's just putting her name on it. But holy fuck, it was just seemed very poorly thought out. And of course, it's just a bunch of muumuus. It's a bunch of muumuus and house dresses and fucking caftans and kimono robes. It's her aesthetic through and through. But that was a great episode because we get to meet Sutton, this fucking bitch. I talked all about her on my Instagram story, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but suffice it to say, I think Sutton will be just what this season needed, quite frankly. Now, we've yet to delve into what's going on with Denise regarding, like, whatever the sexual shit is that causes her to leave the show. But I will say that, so you need to, like, not listen up if you haven't caught up, but on episode 3, the most recent episode, she and her husband are at the dinner party where Kyle is, like, basically welcoming herself back to her own home. Fucking baller flex move. Like, to have anyone throwing their own party for themselves is a bitch that just doesn't give a fuck, and I love it. I'm gonna have a birthday in July, and we currently have plans to go to Puerto Rico. Assuming the resort opens up its amenities, we're gonna fucking be there. But as of the moment, the spa, the gym, the fucking pool, like all of the fucking resort is basically closed. We're not going to this resort if we can't enjoy this resort. But if we can enjoy this resort, we're going. But if we're not, I am throwing myself a gorgeous, over the top, verging on desperate birthday party for myself. I've never done it, and I quite frankly, I'm embarrassed that I've never thrown myself a party. But it's happening if we don't go to Puerto Rico. Maybe it'll happen if we do. I deserve a beautiful party. I can't trust anyone around me to plan as beautiful a party as I would. You know, when you are the person and you're social world. And I have a couple of friends I would entrust to plan out a beautiful party for me. But aside from those two people, I can't trust a single person in my life to throw as grand a party as I deserve. As grand, as beautiful, as well thought out, organized, decorated, the whole fucking thing. I couldn't pass that over to someone else. If I want the most beautiful, epic birthday party or party of any kind, I have to throw it myself. I just do. And that's fine, because I'm very controlling. It kind of works out well. But anyway, if I want a great birthday party and then we don't have, that's what I'm going to do. I've decided it. I've heard it here. You're hearing it first. I will be throwing myself a beautiful, epic birthday party, even if it is just me and Kyle, but it will happen. And that's if we don't go to Puerto Rico. Well, so this is what Kyle does. And at the dinner, we learn that Denise and her husband, Aaron, are a little cuckoo, paranoid. They, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to explain. He does something basically, alternative medicine is the best way to describe it. And I'll bet you there's some value to what he's doing. I'll bet you there's something there. I mean, Kyle has been very into non-traditional forms of, health and wellness forever. So I'm familiar with the concept, and I'm kind of into it to some degree. I didn't understand what he was saying, but but he was also drunk, But what we get from how he's describing whatever the fuck he fucking does with electromagnetic fields, it kind of sounded like Scientology, to be honest, the way he was describing it with the fucking E-meter shit and whatever. But if it's anything of real merit, it was hard to say because the guy was just drunk. But what we learn is that these are their words, this is their experience or hypothesis, that they get followed by basically Big Pharma because Big Pharma wants to take them out. It's a big threat to Big Pharma. And I'm sure, I'm sure, we all know big pharma companies are shady as fuck, and they do dumb shit all the time, and they lobby, and the politicians, and the money, and the thing. It's not like I don't believe big pharma is doing bad and fucked up shit. But do I believe that big pharma is going specifically after Denise Richards and, a washed up sex pot from the mid to late 90s, married formerly to Charlie Sheen, who's a fucking meth head, and then also her husband, who has like one store in LA that's clearly so difficult to understand he can't even explain it on national TV. Do I believe big pharma? And when I say big pharma, I don't even know who I'm referring to. What are we talking about? We're talking about, I don't even know the name of a big pharma company. All of a sudden, Halliburton. What do they do? No, they're not right. I used to know these kinds of things when I worked in corporate sales. Whatever. Do I believe that any of these pharmaceutical companies are actually hiring, I don't know, a fucking hitman or a spy to follow Denise and Aaron on the fucking 405 or whatever the fuck those freeways are, the Pacific Highway on their way to Ralph's? I kind of find it a little hard to believe. I don't know what other types of recreational things that they get into, but it might be time to taper it back. They seem a bit paranoid to me. That was this big revelation that we get at this dinner party. Here's the thing, we've all been following the impending news of whatever's going on with Denise and maybe Brandi Glanville. There's some kind of affair, maybe it's just some weird kink. We don't know. The details at this point are hazy. But whatever it is that happens later in the season causes Denise to just full out stop wanting to film with the group and violate her contract, whatever. They had oh god, I'm so excited, I can't take it. They had packaged the blow up at this dinner party where basically, okay, there's a blow up at the dinner party. Denise is like, no, we can't talk about it, just stop, we gotta go, and kind of throws her hands up. They packaged that clip as though it was part of the storyline that had to do with why Denise leaves the show. But we come to find out it's not at all related. That the reason that Denise gets up from the dinner and kind of stops that whole discussion is about her concern that if they talk too much about the fact that they're being followed, that it puts them in more danger. And oh, by the way, Denise, speaking of being on prescription drugs, and Big Pharma. Denise has hopped up on all kinds of fucking painkillers because the woman just had like 3 hernias removed the fucking 2 days before this event. So I don't know what's going on. It's fucking crazy. I love it. It's brilliant. It's wonderful TV. The producers of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we're 3 episodes in, and this might be the best season they've ever had. And I think they're on what, like 9 seasons? It's insane. So now I'm just like, well, what's the thing with Denise? Is she even having an affair? Is there even a sexual element to this thing? Is it just because she gets even more into this like storyline of the fucking being followed? I don't know, but it's just some, I mean, of course it's some Beverly Hills shit. That's where that stuff originates. It's the much like Asia is the birthplace of terrible global things. Let's see, TikTok, the coronavirus, murder hornets. Murder hornets come from Japan. Just like communism. Is communism Russian or is it? But actually, communism or no, Russia's part of Asia, isn't it? Look, I'm proud of the fact that I'm not embarrassed to ask these questions publicly. I think Russia's part of Asia. No, it's European. Oh, there was I don't know. The point is, China needs to go to its room because it's fucking things up for the rest of us. But why did I start talking like about that? Oh, Beverly Hills, LA is where all these like crazy, dumb fuckery things happen to start, you know, like these crazy trends. So it's like, it would make sense, whatever. But on to more interesting parts of the show that I haven't yet made a complete fool of myself talking about yet is Sutton. Sutton's a new character this season. Sutton initially pissed me the fuck off. This is what I had said on my Instagram the other day, because she comes in acting like she's so fucking hot to trot and some fancy fucking, you know, Anna Wintour adjacent fashionista, and I'll put it simply and say she's not. Her taste is terrible. This is a woman who probably enjoys eating Marmite. No, wait, what? Marmite? Vegemite? Wait, what's the thing? Hold on, let me just look it up real quick. Marmite's the one. Is it Marmite? Marmite? Yeah, Marmite. That's that disgusting yeast spread from Australia that they love. Oh, God. You know, Australia's always been pretty chill, pretty cool, but one of the worst things that they've ever done for the world is Marmite. I tasted it one time, like a decade ago, and I wouldn't ever do it again. I took the teensiest taste, and it tastes like burning. There's just no other way. It's just disgusting. But anyway, she probably loves it. She probably, first thing in the morning, she wakes up, she takes a big old swig of a glass of Marmite, and then she goes and she brushes her teeth with Marmite, and then she goes downstairs and she puts a little splash of Marmite into her coffee. And do you want to know why? Because this woman has no taste. Only someone with no taste would think, I'm just going through all of the different outfits we've seen her in. Anything she's worn thus far is pretty much tragic. She's got a look, which is basically like a high neck, like a turtleneck style, bow on the side, A-line, knee length, sleeveless dress. This is her move. It's not a good move. It's not a good move. She should be evicted. You gotta get out of that. It's awful. Same with her home. I'm sure the home is lovely, you know, structurally and whatever, but her home decor just looks like, it looks like the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And ironically, she lives in Bel-Air. So, or maybe unironically. It all checks out. So, she's got no taste. And this woman is so fucking wealthy. It just goes to show you why money and good taste are not related. You can be scraping by, you know, living paycheck to paycheck, and still have an aesthetic that would make Jennifer Aniston jealous, okay? But then, like, you can be as wealthy as this bitch who, I don't even know, we don't know how wealthy she is, but she's very proud of the fact that she owns a lot of couture. Couture just means it's all hand sewn. That's what it is. And it's just more expensive. It's not being made on an assembly line in a factory. You're not going to get multiple versions of that piece. In fact, every piece will be unique because it's hand sewn, it's handmade. And so it's much more expensive, you know? So like you could have two dresses that are black and beaded, but if one is hand sewn and the other one is less hand sewn, it's like the one that's not hand sewn could be a few hundred dollars, where the one that is fully hand sewn or whatever is $10,000. So it's like it's kind of just like status. It's not like it's not necessarily better. It certainly doesn't mean that it's good looking. Every year they do haute couture fashion shows. And it's more avant-garde. It's art. It's art. It's just wearable art. And again, not to say it's a bad thing. It's just to say just because it is couture does not make it attractive. You know, it's kind of like just because a man is rich as fuck doesn't make him attractive. Okay? That's a little lesson for all you young ladies out there still in the dating scene. Just because a man is rich doesn't mean he's attractive. Oh, here's another version on that. Just because you are ridiculously attracted to him, just because you think that he is the hottest man you've ever seen walk the planet, doesn't mean that he's worth being in a relationship with. You just have to weigh these things, you know? So in her, but she doesn't understand this, and it's kind of sad. She's in her mid-40s, maybe her mid-50s. This woman could be in her 60s for all I fucking know. It's kind of hard for me to tell. She acts like she's 20. She's definitely not. But she had the audacity to insult an outfit that Erika Jayne was wearing, who's one of my favorites. She's a ride or die bitch for me, because she thought that it was a little short. And it's like, first of all, you act like you're constantly wearing a diaper. You're wearing these little children's onesie dresses designed for you to easily get your diaper changed. Like, I don't know who she's fucking trying to impress, but she's got the nerve to say something shitty about Erika Jayne's outfit, while at the same time, that same episode, just moments before, she's at a fitting at the Dolce & Gabbana condom, and that's a throwback to a thing I said earlier, so just keep up. She's at the home of one of the designers for Dolce & Gabbana, and she's trying on couture, obviously, for their fashion show, and she's got the nerve to fucking put on this sheer pussy bow blouse with a satin bra tucked into a pair of high-waisted shorts. This woman she is not overweight by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure she's underweight, actually. However, she's got a build like a fucking rectangle. She's shaped like a Kleenex box. Like, she's got no curves, okay? It's a lot of, you need help, right? You need some things done to create a silhouette when you're boxy, and this was doing the opposite. This was a fucking, she was being put down the conveyor belt at a Amazon warehouse distribution center because bitch looked like a box. With a bow, no less. It was very ironic. And also, where I'm going with this, she was just showing off her bra. It was just a sheer blouse. And I'm not saying, I don't judge either way. Show off your bra, show off your ass. I don't give a fuck. But the fact that someone who wants to go around wearing basically just a bra and a pair of diaper shorts wants to make a comment about someone in a short dress, you just have to look in the mirror. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to, it's about consistency. And if you want to dress like a whore, consistently do that. Be cool with other people dressing like a whore. She actually wasn't dressed like a whore. Neither of them were. And if you are, I don't give a fuck. Have a great time. Dress like a whore. That's up to you. I'm sure I dress like a whore in some people's opinions. And I would support that for myself and for you. So, anyhow, but where Sutton sort of redeemed herself for me, and it's a small redemption. I'm not fully sold, but she sort of I kind of started to understand her when they were at the dinner party, you know, the one who I was telling you about in great detail and exhaustive, very dull, very let's get on with it kind of detail about Aaron and Denise. She is doing this they're all doing a first impressions game. oh, let's go around the table and say what your first impression was of the person sitting right next to you. I mean, this game is all well and fun, you know, if it's either not being recorded or if it's among very, very close friends. But you can't do, well, I mean, obviously they did it because it was going to be great TV with a person that's brand new. And, you know, Sutton doesn't like Teddy, or at least this is the narrative we're getting so far. And Sutton turns to Teddy to say, after everyone else is gone, and they've all been like, you know, my first impression of you was that you were so intimidating because you were so beautiful. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, is this the game we're playing? It's the false honesty game. I mean, and maybe it's true. Maybe it's a thought that they had, but was that truly the first impression? Or, I mean, like, is that the impression? I think the point of the game is, like, you either focus on something that really defines that person or an idea that you might have had initially that got proven wrong. That's really kind of the shtick here. It's not just how many compliments do I give you. That's a different game. That game is called being rich and everyone wants to get a piece of you. I don't know. That game is just called fucking Hollywood. So they get to Sutton and Sutton turns to Teddy and she does the thing where she's going to be honest and she's like, I thought you were boring. And it took her a little while, but eventually she turned it around. But the thing is it didn't go without her also taking a dig at the fact that Teddy's pregnant, which is one that I didn't understand. Do we know if Sutton has children? I don't know. Look, I'm getting bored talking about this, which means you've been bored listening, but I'll just wrap it up and say, I think Sutton is great for the show. I don't hate her. I'm still feeling her out. So we're going to see how it plays out over the next few episodes. I don't think you can know whether you're going to hate someone indefinitely within 1 or 2 episodes. I don't. There were characters that in other seasons who I'm like, oh, I cannot stand them. But then they've either grown on me or they've come to be some of my favorites, you know? And then vice versa in other situations. I used to love Brandy Glanville. Now I fucking hate her. And I can't believe she's going to have anything to do with this season. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, you know, have an open mind. Have an open mind. All right, so here is what I did want to talk about for the week, for like the health focus element of the show. I'm being very self-critical of my body lately. I don't know that that's anything new. I've always been extremely self-critical of all of my looks, but particularly my body. And I couldn't tell you where that came from or why. And it would be cool if I could just get over it, but I can't and I won't and I shan't. And don't you fucking tell me what to do. But, you know, it's not great. I don't like that characteristic about myself, but it is a thing. And it's only it's evolved as I've gotten older. As you get older, your metabolism does slow and, you know, your body can morph. I have not had children, but I know among my friends who have, you know, your hips can move and widen, obviously in preparation for childbirth. Shit just doesn't hang in the same spot, you know, all that stuff. So I haven't actually even had kids, but I've already felt like over the last few years, my body has changed a bit. What also makes it hard is I'm short, you know, short for an average woman, I suppose. I mean, I'm 5'4". I think actually that might be the average height, but I feel like I'm typically shorter than most of my friends. And that doesn't help either. I'm short, I have boobs, I have hips, I'm 35, I'm gonna be 36. And it's just kind of like everything's working against me in terms of like having the shape I want of my body. And it's not like I feel like, oh my God, I gotta lose 50 pounds or something drastic. But in order to get the shape I'm after, I will have to do, drastic may be a bit harsh, but like I will have to make significant changes. Because I do have a fairly healthy lifestyle. I don't drink much. We've talked about, I'm not doing drugs. I cook all the time. And I'm very well versed on healthy cooking and like the right kinds of foods to eat, or at least how to optimize your food for nutrition and all that shit. I'm pretty well versed on these things. But even still, despite all of that, I carry around 10 to 15 excess pounds of fat for sure. So if I want to change that, like it's going to take some really significant measures for me to lose weight that I want to lose. So I've been thinking about it, you know, and it started over a decade ago when Kyle and I did our first paleo challenge, and I've managed to continue eating a predominantly paleo lifestyle for well over 10 years now. You know, but I don't, it's hard because like I like the idea of, there's so many quote unquote diets out there, right? And I'm not saying like you should diet. I don't really like the term. It's not that I don't like the term. I don't like the concept of a diet, because a diet implies a sense of impermanence, a very temporary state, you know, something that's meant to be a fix to a problem. And then once it's fixed and that's it, right? I want to find a way, sorry, let me back up. So in addition to all the other things I do to have a healthy lifestyle, I also work out regularly, and it's a combination of things, and there's a focus on weight training that I do. So it's like, I know I have all the components in place to be the body weight and shape that I want for myself. And I'll be clear, let me clarify too, I don't weigh myself at this point, because like it's just such a mind fuck. Like I just can't get into it. I can't do it to myself. So I don't weigh myself, but I know based on how I look in photos, how I look when I'm naked, and how my clothes fit, I know if I'm on the right track. And so I haven't necessarily like gained weight, which I guess is one thing to be happy about in this quarantine. Maybe I have. I honestly, again, I don't fucking know. But if I have gained weight, I haven't gained so much significant weight that I can really see it, you know. But I'd still, even still, have been wanting to really like get back. About 4 years ago, I was in fantastic shape, and part of it was just I just ate less. That was it. It was as simple as that. I wasn't eating differently. I wasn't cutting things out. I just ate less, and it ended up being inadvertent caloric restriction and portion control. So I know that that's what I need to do, and I am so where I'm going with all of this is to say I'm going to start experimenting with tracking macros. I've never done it before. I wish I didn't need to put that level of like focus or be that detail oriented to my diet in order to lose weight. I wish it weren't like that for me. But like I said, like I've turned all the other dials to try and see what is it that could unlock this actual progress again toward losing weight. And it's just my diet, y'all. Like it is just my diet. I think it's important to be honest with yourself when you're really trying to understand like any change you're trying to make, whether it's, you know, about your health or anything, a job, a relationship, you know, what you want to do with where you want to live, like your family. There's just, it's hard to be honest with yourself, because if you're honest with yourself, you might have to confront some things that make you uncomfortable, or that you, whatever, you're like, oh, I'd have to change the way that I do that, and that's all hard. But you really have to be honest with yourself. And when I'm really, really honest with myself, I know what I'm eating is sometimes too much and sometimes too indulgent, and I just know that. So I'm not going to be good at cutting out food groups. Paleo was extraordinarily hard for me initially because it had so many things I had to cut out. So even though like I'll focus my meals on having vegetables and good sources of meat, you know, I eat very few, like I try to limit my carbohydrate intake, or my refined carbohydrates, I should say. But it's like, I can't cut out beans or rice, or honey, you know, like being a strict paleo diet is just not something that works long-term for me. So I eat within that kind of mindset, but I don't let it control me, because it just doesn't work for me. And I like to cook, like I said, so I like to bake. I want to try a new recipe. I want to eat pasta sometimes. I love pasta. I want to eat pasta every fucking day. I just don't. But I know that it's not like the approach to the food, the style of food that I eat. I know that is simply I eat too much of it when I do, and that I overindulge on things that are really not good for me. For example, for a long time I thought, it's fine that I go to Starbucks on a daily basis or like 5 times a week. I'll go and I get my chai because a chai is not so bad, is what I tell myself. It's milk predominantly, which I don't love to drink milk. I just like as a preference, I don't like enjoy milk. But it's a milk drink with a concentrate that's like a very sugary spiced tea drink. And that's why I like it. I like it because it's really sweet and it's really spicy. And I've just never been able to make a great one myself at home and all that. So I'm like, it's fine. It only has like 300 calories and, it's not that big of a deal. And maybe it's not, right? But it's like, I'll have one of those 5 times a week. Then also, maybe I will make a paleo-friendly dessert to have around the house. And I will eat that every single day. And all of a sudden, it's like, who knows how much fucking sugar that all is. But then I've also had so many more calories, and I'm also eating my normal shit on top of that. Or maybe I'm not eating my normal shit, and then I'm missing out on the nutrients I need from vegetables and other things that would otherwise be good for me. So I've had to really like dig deep and be willing to admit to myself that even though I can talk about nutrition and I can help other people think about it, I'm not doing a great job with it myself. And so I've decided I want to track my macros versus calories, or trying another 30-day, diet challenge, because macros, if you are not sure what that is, macros means it's your macronutrients. It's the big nutrients that exist in food. It's fat, protein, and carbohydrate. And it's these nutrients that all equate to a calorie. So like, for every gram of fat, it's equal to however many grams of calories. I have no idea. But here's the thing. Calories as a top line are what matter, right? In terms of weight loss. It's just as simple as that. It's in versus out. I know I'm putting out a lot of energy, but if I'm not losing weight, then I'm clearly taking in too much energy in the form of calories. And so I could look at calories, but here's the thing. To me, it's just, I've done it before. I don't find it helps drill down enough. And frankly, I don't find it mentally stimulating enough, to stick with it. So I've been very, I've talked a lot on this podcast about just elements of health that I focus on. And I hope it comes through that like I spent some time really trying to understand these things. Whether I read or not is neither here nor there, but I really do try to understand like whether it's a scientific element or it's an evolutionary thing behind it. Like I want to understand more about why things work the way that they do. And I understand calories, but like I think if you go one level deeper into, okay, how are my calories being consumed? Am I getting to my calories like really, really fucking fast because all I'm doing is eating, fucking peanut butter all day? Peanut butter has a lot of fat in it, right? It's also got a lot of sugar, but like depending on the kind that you buy. But if you get a really good peanut butter, let's just say it's all peanuts, right? No sugar. So it's a lot of fucking fat. You don't have to eat much peanut butter to hit your calorie goal for the day. So you could hit the calories and eat shit, but then you're maybe missing out on other nutrients. You see what I'm saying? I want to basically make sure that I'm continuing to eat within a way that I feel like is sustaining a healthy lifestyle for myself, but also still have the latitude to eat things I enjoy. I don't know if I don't really know because I've never had this conversation. This is like the first time I've ever really talked about all this, so you're welcome. But I don't know if I could say I've had a history of disordered eating, but maybe I have. I've never had like anorexia. I've never had bulimia or anything like that. I've simply had a over preoccupation with food for like my whole life. I love food, and so that's added some complexity to it. Like I love to cook, I love to bake, I love to share my things I make with people that I love, and I enjoy that, and I like to make the holiday special and things like that. And I also want to eat healthy, but I always like kind of have had a little bit of a preoccupation of like, is that good food for me? Like, is that good? Sorry, my battery on my phone was like, oh, you're running low. So we're going to wrap this up soon. But that's been a thing. I've always wondered like, okay, is this food okay for me to eat? Or like, oh, I ate really bad. I should either, you know, maybe I work out way harder. Like, I know these are not healthy ideas. It's never been just as simple as me of being like, okay, great, I ate that, I'm done, moving on. It's never been like that for me. So, I need to be mindful about how deep in the weeds I allow myself to get on things. So I've been very reticent to try and do anything like this in the past. But as I said earlier, I'm trying to be really honest with myself too. And it's like, okay, I'm not at a place yet where I can do what's also referred to as like intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is pretty much just being a fucking normal person and eating food. Eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, making balanced decisions, and it not weighing on you. I wish I could get to that point. I tried for a long time to kind of operate like that, but I just know I'm not able to turn it off when I need to, depending on a variety of factors. Maybe the food's just really delicious. Maybe I'm just really stressed. Maybe I'm upset. Who knows what? Maybe I'm celebrating. You know, there's so many different factors. So I'm just not at a point where I can do that. So I think if I'm tracking the macros, and you can, by the way, I'm not telling you to do this, but if you want to know, like, how do you know how many fat grams, protein grams, and carbohydrate grams you're supposed to eat, you can just take a little test online. And it's not to say it's 100% accurate. I'm sure there's all kinds of variables, but I mean, I think directionally it'll be mostly in line with what I would expect. And so, and in fact, it does in terms of so you get a variety of information. You'll get the caloric number, right? But then that caloric number, that threshold for the day, is broken down into those 3 macros. So it's kind of interesting because you could be like, for example, I'm like, I don't want to be told I can't eat something. Well, if you're tracking your macros, you can eat anything you want, so long as you stick within those guardrails of what grams of fat, protein, and carbs you've been given. So if one day I'm like, I'm gonna fucking eat some pasta, you know, if I prepare it myself, then I can easily like calculate what the things are. Now, this is the thing that I've been very reticent about tracking macros because of, which is I'm going to have to spend a lot more time actually measuring, weighing, and, you know, portioning out the food that I'm eating. But I'm telling you, I know this is what I need. I know it is, and so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take it seriously. And all I'm doing is, like, I just downloaded the MyFitnessPal app. Everyone's heard of it. It's very simple to use. It is a lot of work up front, but that part is definitely off-putting. To be like, okay, I'm gonna have, how many eggs am I gonna have? Okay, great. I have to enter in that I'm gonna eat 2 eggs, or better yet, actually weigh your eggs. Get a gram count on the gram. I mean, like, that's some fucking shit, right? That, like, I used to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the kitchen, I'm just gonna whip up some eggs. 5 minutes later, I've got eggs, you know? With this, it's going to take a little more time. And I'm kind of dipping my toe in right now, starting for like a week or so of just eating the way that I normally would, and then tracking it after the fact. In other words, I'm just trying to get a benchmark of like, what am I working with right now? Where am I overdoing it? And spoiler alert, I'm overdoing it on carbohydrates and fat, and I'm underdoing it on protein. And I bet you this is true of like the average person for sure, but I think especially among women. I'm not using any supplements. I very rarely use collagen protein, because I don't drink coffee, so I don't have an easy way to just like get it into my pie hole. But so it's interesting for me to see, okay, what is it that I'm doing right now that seems to be throwing me off? And by the way, where my macros recommendation is concerned, I'm still going to get to eat a good amount of carbohydrates. I think my recommendation is like 161 grams of carbs a day, which is not bad. Like, I even went and had a chai the other day, and I put that shit in there, and I think it was like 60 grams of carbs. That's a fuck ton when you only get 160 grams. But even still, I'm like, oh shit. Like, if I really, really wanted that chai, I could figure out a way to make it work into what I would get as an allotment for the day. I'm never gonna, hear me now, you will literally never see me hashtag if it fits your macros. That shit is for fucking losers. I will literally never say that. But, here on this podcast, it's a good way to explain how it kind of works. So again, my focus is I still want to eat the right foods. I don't want to turn into one of these people that like eats 1 meal a day and it's all just garbage because they've done the math and they know that they can eat this and it's, you know, whatever. I want to still eat healthy and good foods, but I just need some way to kind of rein it in. So I've made the decision to do this. I'm kind of introducing it and telling you about it now for the first time. But I'm also somewhat hopeful this will help me stay maybe more accountable, you know? Tons of research exists that when you start to put shit out vocally, like you verbalize a goal or you write it down or you share it publicly, that you're more likely to stick to it. So this is kind of my personal accountability measure. So I'm bringing all this up just to say, number one, whatever your health, wellness, concerns and objectives might be right now, the first thing you got to do is just be really honest with yourself. You know, are you trying to quit smoking? That'd be an awesome goal, by the way. And fuck, that's a totally different can of worms, obviously, but like, start with what is the problem? Why is it that you really haven't quit before? Or you want to start working out, right? You know that you need to get a fitness routine into your lifestyle. What the fuck? Be honest with yourself. Why aren't you doing it? You scared? Are you worried what people might think? Like, address the fucking thing, the real issue that's holding you back. Be honest with yourself. It sucks. It's about admitting weakness or I don't know, you're a shortcoming, whatever. And it sucks. No one wants to be uncomfortable like that. But I'll tell you, if as soon as you do it and it's over and it's behind you and you're like, okay, fuck, I fucking admitted that, and now I'm taking steps to like get past that, it doesn't matter anymore. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Burns for a second and then it's over. So so that was the first thing. The second thing is, if you are interested in getting a better handle on your diet, you know, I think there's so much there. And I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know if I needed to say that. I mean, yeah, I'm not a nutritionist, so what the fuck do I know? But if you're wanting to make changes to your nutrition and what you're eating, I would say before you start digging too deep into something like this, find a way of eating that works for you. Like, don't just go vegan because somebody told you being vegan is healthy, or you can lose weight being vegan. If you want to be vegan, make sure you're doing it because it's sustainable. It's something that makes sense in your life. Like, you genuinely don't feel good about the animal element of it or whatever. But like, just because a doctor told you to go vegan doesn't mean fucking shit. Doctors say a lot of goddamn stuff and some of it's fucking stupid. So on nutrition, Kyle's one of his best friends in his life is a fucking cardiologist at one of those fancy hospitals in Manhattan. Sorry, Brandon. Don't know where you work. But he said himself, he is is he a shit? I think he's a cardiologist. I think he's a heart doctor. Heart or brain, one of the two. One of those big important organs. So, you know, he knows how medicine works and shit. He said in med school, they only spent, out of all of the med school that you go to, and I think it's like 4 years, they spend 1 week on nutrition. 1 fucking week. Now, I get it. They're not going to school because they want to tell people how to eat. They're going to school to figure out how to operate on people and save lives in that regard. But saving lives also has to do with preventing getting the things that send you to the hospital in the first place to have your life saved. And nutrition is one of them. So don't fucking listen to just a doctor, just a regular old doctor, some rando GP that you've been to one time said try a vegan diet. Don't fucking take that for law. Explore. There's tons of information out there. You know, and not everything is going to work for everybody. If anyone ever fucking told me to become a vegan, I would tell them to go get fucked. And I have vegan friends, and I make vegan things. But I'll tell you this much, I will never fucking eat a vegan lifestyle. Ever. So that won't work for me, you know? But you've got to figure out what's going to work for you for the long term. Not for 30 days, not even for 90 days. What can you realistically do? And for me, I'm like, I want to be able to eat everything. I don't want to have a food that's totally off limits. But I also want my diet to center around real food, wholesome food, lots of vegetables, things that will make me strong like bull. I want those things to be, you know, like at the epicenter of my diet, with a little bit of latitude for things that need it. So that would be, if you are thinking about your nutrition, start there. Be really honest with yourself, and then take the time to find a lifestyle of eating that's really going to work for you. And then after you've started to do that, then start to figure out where do you dial it in, or how do you fine tune, because it's a fucking project. And like I said earlier, you get older, your metabolism changes. So even if you're eating great and your portions are perfect when you're 27, you're gonna turn 33 someday, and all of a sudden you're just gonna like have a hard time buttoning your jeans. You're gonna be like, the fuck? Yeah, it sucks. Getting old is basically just nature's way of saying that you're dying, so, you know. And I think right there is just like a fantastic note to wrap this up. We actually went a little longer than I anticipated. That fucking Real Housewives of Beverly Hills shit was boring. I'm sorry. I told you this is not my best day. It really isn't even a great day for me to have filmed a podcast, but I've done it. I mean, I look great, so I wasn't going to lose out on that opportunity, but also it's about consistency. I think last week I was saying done is better than perfect. This is not my best podcast. We can all admit that. We're all here to be honest with one another. But it's also not my last podcast. So it's only going up from here. If you liked the show, look, actually, I really shouldn't even say this on this episode because you probably thought this episode sucked. But think about the other episodes. Think about the episodes that are to come. If you want more show, you know, it'd be super helpful is if you'd rate the podcast 5 stars. Only 5 stars. If you don't want to rate the podcast 5 stars, then simply do not rate it at all. And then also subscribe, because that helps apparently. So do that. It literally costs you nothing. Oh, you know what? I just started listening to the Trader Joe's, Inside Trader Joe's podcast. It's like run by their marketing people. It's so cute. It's so Trader Joe'sy. And at the end, they go, subscribe. They tell you to subscribe, and he goes, it's free, and it's worth every penny, or something like that. I love a good wholesome joke, you know? So it's subscribing's free, and it is worth every penny. And then also, you know what else would be super helpful is if you would just tell people that you know about the podcast. Be like, yo, you were talking about macros the other day. Yeah, I've been listening to this podcast, and I think you really enjoy it. Not that episode. It's not our best, but listen to the other ones. Just skip episode 15. I mean, I don't know what you want to say to this person. You got to figure it out. But just let them know that it's here. That's the way we do things, you know? And then come back next week for some other shit, and hopefully it's more entertaining. I probably should get a guest. I enjoyed my chat with Brittany. I think it's time for another guest, but we'll see. So anyway, until next time, that's it. That's all. That's everything. And that's right, bitches. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.